As the night deepens, a soft breeze stirs the trees outside, and the gentle hum of the world fades away. In a quiet, peaceful village, nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there lived a beautiful woman named Belle. She was known for her grace, her kindness, and a soul that seemed to shine brighter than the stars above. Yet, Belle felt a longing inside her, a yearning for something beyond the confines of her simple life. Each night, she would sit by her window, gazing at the vast sky, wondering if there was more to life than what she knew. One evening, as the golden light of dusk began to settle, a traveler came into the village, his face hidden by the shadows of his hood. He was weary, yet there was an aura of mystery that surrounded him. Belle, with her innate compassion, offered him shelter in her home, unaware that this encounter would change her life forever. The Enchanted Castle. As the days passed, Belle's heart grew heavy with a strange sense of unease. She had received word of a distant castle, deep in the heart of the forest, a place rumored to be inhabited by a fearsome beast. No one dared to approach it, and the villagers spoke of it in hushed tones, their eyes filled with caution and fear. But one cold, moonless night, the inevitable happened. A tragic event struck the village, and Belle's father was captured by the beast. Without hesitation, Belle set off into the forest, determined to rescue him. The path was dark, and the woods whispered with ancient secrets as the trees stretched their limbs toward the sky, casting shadows that seemed to move. When she arrived at the castle, the door groaned open on its own, as if welcoming her into the unknown. The air was thick with mystery and a sense of loneliness that seemed to emanate from the very walls. Inside, the grand hall was cold, its once beautiful tapestries now faded and torn. There, in the center of the room, stood the beast. His large, towering frame was draped in darkness, and his eyes glowed with an unsettling intensity. The beast's tragedy. The beast, despite his terrifying appearance, was not what he seemed. Beneath the rugged exterior lay a heart full of sorrow. He had not always been a creature of such monstrous form. Long ago, he had been a young prince, cursed by a powerful enchantress for his arrogance and cruelty. The curse could only be broken if he found someone who could love him, despite his outward appearance. Before the last petal of a magical rose fell, in the quiet of the castle, Belle learned the truth about the beast's tragic past. His curse was not one of his own choosing, but one that had been thrust upon him. Over time, the bitterness in his heart had only deepened, and he had become the very monster the world feared. But in Belle, he began to see something he had lost long ago: hope. As days passed, Belle's fear slowly transformed into understanding. She began to see the beast not as a creature to fear, but as a soul in need of healing. She spoke to him with kindness, her words like a gentle balm to his wounded heart. She discovered that beneath his rough exterior, he possessed a tenderness and warmth she had never expected. A growing bond. The castle, once cold and foreboding, began to feel different. The warmth of Belle's presence brought life back to its stone walls. The once silent rooms now echoed with laughter, and the garden, neglected for years, began to bloom once more. Each evening after a quiet dinner, Belle and the beast would sit by the grand fireplace, talking about their lives, their dreams, and the lives they had yet to live. Slowly they began to heal, both of them finding solace in the company of one another. As Belle's affection for the beast grew, she began to understand that love wasn't about appearances. Love was about seeing the soul within, accepting the flaws, and embracing the imperfections that make a person whole. She began to notice the small, gentle gestures the beast made. How he would bring her the first bloom of a flower in spring, or how his eyes softened when she spoke of her childhood dreams. But deep down, Belle knew the truth. The beast's curse was still in place, and time was running out every day that passed was a step closer to the moment when the last petal would fall, and the show on the beast would be trapped in his monstrous form forever. The transformation. As the final days approached, Belle's heart ached with the realization that she had fallen in love with the beast. But the magic of the curse was still at play. One night, as they walked through the garden under a sky filled with stars, Belle whispered to the beast her deepest fears, that she could never break the curse, no matter how much she loved him. The beast, with tears in his eyes, held her close and whispered back, "True love is not something you can see with your eyes. It's something you feel with your heart." As his words sank into her soul, Belle realized that love was the key. And then, as the clock struck midnight, something miraculous happened. The last petal of the enchanted rose fell. But rather than the curse tightening its grip, a warm light enveloped the beast. The air shimmered, and slowly his monstrous form began to melt away, revealing the young prince beneath. A prince who had been lost in time, forgotten by the world. Belle, with tears in her eyes, reached out for the prince, knowing that she had freed him not just from a curse, but from the loneliness and pain that had plagued him for so long. In his eyes, she saw not a monster but the man he had always been, a man who was deserving of love. As they stood together, the world around them began to change. And the castle, now restored to its former glory, was filled with light and warmth. The once dying garden bloomed with life, and the air was filled with the sweet fragrance of blossoms. With a final soft kiss beneath the full moon, Belle and the prince knew that their journey together had just begun. Their love had broken the curse, but more importantly, it had brought them both the peace and happiness they had been seeking all along. The night drifted on, quiet and peaceful, as the stars above continued their eternal dance, watching over the lovers who had found each other in the most unexpected of places. And so, my dear listener, as you drift into sleep, may the story of Belle and the Beast remind you that love is a force beyond understanding, a force that can heal, transform, and bring light even to the darkest of places. Close your eyes now, let the calm wash over you, and allow yourself to drift gently into a peaceful, restful slumber. Good night.